Hi, everybody. It's Molly Smith. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Salon. And this is our weekly program every Thursday evening where I interview innovative thinkers and creative firebrands. We're living through a critical time in American history, the COVID-19 pandemic, and a vital social justice movement led by Black Lives Matter. Our guests are a variety of artists and leaders discussing new ideas, how they're coping with the coronavirus and making positive social change, as well as showing us glimmers of hope for the future. We have a wonderful lineup tonight. My guests this evening are Kris Brown, who's the president of the Brady Foundation, one of America's oldest and boldest gun violence prevention groups; Meg Gillentine, who is a film and stage actress and activist. Arena audiences would remember her from Damn Yankees, Cabaret, Mother Courage and Her Children. KOA, formerly known as Daniel Beaty, who is a singer, a writer, an actor, a community activist, and you'll remember him from Arena Stage's Tallest Tree in the Forest. First up is Kris Brown, and she is, as the president of Brady, she combines a lifelong background in policy, law, and grassroots activism with considerable strategic management expertise to help forge the direction of the organization's programs and ensure the successful impact of its national and field assets. And there's Kris. Hi, Kris. She's worked on the Hill and in private law practice. She even started her career on Capitol Hill working for our own representative, Jim Moran, advocating for the bill that would eventually become the groundbreaking Brady bill requiring background checks on federally licensed gun sales. Hi, Kris.
Hi, Molly. Pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kris, I'm really excited to have you here. And to be honest, also sad because this week is the anniversary of the shootings at Sandy Hook Elementary that inspired myself, my partner, and a bunch of people on Facebook to create a March on Washington for gun control. And I'm borrowing this from your Twitter in May. 7 years since Sandy Hook, 4 years since Pulse, 2 years since Parkland, 2 years since Vegas, 1 year since Tree of Life, 9 months since El Paso, and no action. And yet it took Canada 1 week after a massacre to ban assault weapons. This is common sense leadership to save lives. So where are we? Are you optimistic about the new administration?
I'm hugely optimistic about the new administration, and I have a lot of solid reasons to feel that optimism. We have someone in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris who have lived through and experienced the horrors of gun violence and have done a lot in their careers. I can't think of two people, especially with Joe Biden, frankly, who've done more. As the person who leads Brady, I can safely say that if Jim and Sarah were here today, they would count Joe Biden as among the top 3 people who've really made a difference around this issue for our country. And and I know he feels it personally and very deeply. And that really counts for a lot, Molly, because across this country, we have a huge surge of activism around this issue. Since Parkland, March for Our Lives has been formed, and they had a critical role in this election, as did the entire gun violence prevention movement. And the thing that I think that is important for people to know is we've never had more alignment as a movement on the things that we think need to happen to actually really address this issue, nor more alignment with an incoming administration about how to tackle this as an intersectional issue. It's not just having one group or one aspect of the administration work to solve this issue. It needs to be tackled by the Department of Justice, by Health and Human Services, by HUD, by Department of Interior, by Department of Education. And this administration believes that. And I've never seen that kind of engagement or enthusiasm. So I'm incredibly hopeful. I'm incredibly encouraged about where we are. And I have to say, that came because everyday Americans have made this issue a top priority, and that's as it should be. We're better together, and this is an issue that deserves to be solved.
Well, Kris, as you're speaking about embedding it in all the different departments, it makes me think about what Biden and Harris are doing in terms of the climate and climate control, where it's a whole different way of looking at it, not just putting it its own thing, but actually putting it in every division that has to do with the federal government. So you're seeing the same thing happening with gun control?
I am, and it's so interesting you say that, Molly, because I do think that's a philosophy that this administration has around these issues. We have someone like Susan Rice, for example, who has been named the head of the Domestic Policy Council, and we're so excited about that. Of course, she has incredible pedigree for any number of roles, a lot of that more in the international world, but she is someone who can help translate how so many of our domestic issues actually do have implications for national security, for what we're doing in terms of foreign policy. And a lot of these issues, like gun violence, I will say, have those kinds of cross-border implications. So it's not only how the administration thinks about these issues holistically and across various functions, it's also how they're thinking about them for our overall policy. And I'll just give you one example of what I mean, because it's really important. We have a situation where the manner in which we are exporting guns is fueling gun violence all across the world. We heard a lot from Donald Trump about building a wall. Well, the reality of that wall is that a huge number of the people who are fleeing the United States in any given year are not doing so voluntarily. They're afraid for their lives. They're refugees who are fleeing violence, often with guns sold from America into their countries. And so the implications that we have around our policy don't only impact us as Americans, it impacts our foreign policy, and it impacts how we treat people who deserve better from our own policy in the places where they live.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the interconnectedness of all of this, I think with Joe Biden, you know, he's had so much experience and knows so many people. And so one of the things that I really like that he's bringing home is that I think the American people and all of us are hungry for solutions. And that does take reaching out to people who may have disagreements with us, but ultimately the stakes are so high. We need to be led with empathy and with determination to actually reach resolution around these issues. And I think he is a wonderful leader for that reason, because he has so much experience working things out with people who disagree with him, but ultimately he comes to conclusions and really tries to compromise and make a difference.
Yeah, I think he's a transformational leader. I think he's gonna just keep taking it and fly. This is his time. This is her time. They're gonna take it and run. There are so many problems to be solved. And for people who work in public service, when you have this moment, you fly with it. And I think that they will. And I think they're going to carry all of us with them. All the activism that's come out because of this double pandemic that we've been going through, I think they can harness. I think they can harness it as a country.
Yeah, I think so too, and not a moment too soon, because 2/3 of all gun deaths in America, for example, Molly, are suicide. And this pandemic, as horrible as it is, has worsened the crisis of gun violence. So that's another reason that I'm so happy that we have leaders who really will look at the data, actually tackle it holistically, and care ultimately about the people being impacted by this, who aren't Republicans or Democrats, women or men, red or blue. They're just real people. every day who are being impacted by this epidemic.
Well, Kris, I've loved talking to you. Our time sadly is over, but thank you so much for everything that you do for the country and for who we are, and your work in terms of gun violence has been absolutely powerful. So thank you, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you, and thanks for what you do. It's so important. Thanks, Molly.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next up is Meg Gillentine. Meg has acted on stage, on film, and television. She was trained in ballet from a young age. She was a Fosse dancer too. She triumphed in New York in musical theater. And Meg is also now an activist. Exactly what I was talking to Kris about is we're seeing all of these changes in people's lives as they become active in the world. You've been so active as an artist, Meg, and now you've really moved into this kind of activism. And as a dancer, I think you're used to being in action. But often what happens with dancers and performers is they don't take that extra step in their own lives. And you've just done that. So talk to us about the Giver's Closet.
Oh, Molly. Well, first off, I want to say thanks for having me. It always brings my heart such joy to be with you. So
Me too, Meg. Me too. Me too. I just had a man who is writing a pretty spectacular Broadway musical the other day talk to me, and he said he used to go to arena as a kid.
Yeah.
I said, "What's the first thing you saw?" And he said, "Damn Yankees."
Oh, no.
I thought, oh my God, that was 15 years ago. But
Oh,
just to realize who you are, Meg, has
Yeah.
affected so many artists.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the Giver's Closet sprung out of trying to find some hope. And some hope during this time, and some hope with, I've figuring out what else I can do. I was, I was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 years ago, and it sort of sent me into a whirlwind of my purpose. I love the stage. I'm a mom now, and figuring out what moves my soul like 8 shows a week does, like performing in front of an audience does. And I found that through service. And I recently went on a trip with my girlfriend, Jenny Levison. We traveled all the way from California and back in an RV. It was called the Kindness Tour. We teamed up with local farms. We bought their produce. We turned it into food. We gave it out to the community. We fed fire stations. We fed frontline workers. We went to Lake Charles and did groceries and gave it out. And, the amount of adrenaline that goes through my body when I am serving is exactly like the adrenaline that goes through my body when I am on stage in front of a live audience. You're completely in the moment. There's nothing better, right? So we did this incredible tour and came back, and part of it for me was selfishly, it was to get away from the noise, right? Get away from the news, get away from the noise, get away from everything that was happening, and to get into the quiet and actually be able to hear what I'm supposed to do. Aside from, I'm never going to give up performing. If people will still hire me, I will come, right? And so out of that sprung the Giver's Closet, and it sprung because, we were in an RV. It was me, my husband, and my son, and Jenny. We had 2 RVs, and we didn't take a lot with us, and the amount of stuff that we took, I still didn't use. I still didn't need. And I came home to a house full of stuff, and it's all really great stuff, right? But it's I don't need it all, right? And as we went across the country, I met so many people that, we're all struggling in some way, right, during this time. And I think I know I was trained, and I have a tendency to just say, yeah, everything's fine, everything's good, everything's fine. And I met so many people along the way that, they would say everything's fine, but it wasn't. It wasn't. So it was inspired by the trip, and one place in LA that we served, South LA Cafe, where anybody and everybody can come in and sit down and eat with dignity. And a shelter that we served in Van Horn, where they help people get back on their feet, and they have a closet in there where they can go pick out a suit to go to their interview. And I thought, what if I create a closet that's pay what you can, and I get people to donate clothes, the fab stuff, not talking about, you know, the sweater that you've had in your closet for 15 years. I'm talking about the fab stuff, because we all have fab stuff in our closets. And it's a pay what you can store. And people can come in, and there are suggested prices. If you have the money and you want to spend that, great. If you can't, no questions asked. You pay what you can. If you can't pay anything at all, you get it for free. And 100% of everything we make in the Giver's Closet goes straight back into the community. So this month we're serving a place here called Free 99 Fridge, and it is in food drought areas in Atlanta where people have to take public transportation to get to a grocery store. And this wonderful girl, Letitia Springer, has started this, and there are refrigerators and cupboards, and the community is filling them, and people are going up and they're getting free food. So I love it. It's been 2 weeks. It was an idea that just sort of like came about. And you know what? I will quote Sarah Blakely: when you have something that fills the white space, then you just have to have the guts, and you just have to take action. And I feel like this is something that fills a need, and especially a need right now, during the holidays, where people's budgets are tight, but they still want to wrap something and put it under the tree, and the Giver's Closet can provide that. And we have really beautiful things for men, women, and kids. And we did a pop-up last week, and we did gift wrapping to boot. So they left with their packages wrapped.
Well, Meg, to see you with this much joy, you always carry a lot of joy with you, but this is like mega wattage.
Yeah.
And I think you're so right. Being of service changes everything. It changes everything. And you've found a place to be able to give people back in a really beautiful way, to make their lives brighter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all deserve to feel good, right? No matter
Yeah.
what the situation is. And, you know, some situations just can't be helped. And, you know, I'm a big seeker of joy, and I try to live by only moving towards things that bring me joy. And I want to do that for other people. And I don't want them to have to worry. You know, my dream is that it would have some sort of brick and mortar where everybody would know that they could always come. Or right now I'm trying to figure out a trailer or food truck situation that I can turn into a boutique, so I can take it to neighborhoods that need it more than some, or drive it around and pick up donations, you know, just so that it can be a mobile unit. So it's really exciting. And I've gotten a lot of support from the community. And that's something too that, you know, I saw out there on the road, is that, you know, it's the community that makes it happen. You can't wait for the big guy, you know.
Exactly.
All the red tape and all of it, it just got me so frustrated. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to make my own lane. I'm just going to make my own lane, and I'm going to fit. And it's not perfect. And I'm super guilty of letting the minutia of things get in the way of me stepping forward and taking action. And I just, after being away and getting quiet and listening to, I don't know, have you read Untamed by Glennon Doyle? Yeah. So listening to the knowing, right? And letting that gold shimmer just, look, I have the book right here with me. It's like my Bible, letting the gold shimmer just pour, right? And then you don't have an option. As soon as you hear that thought, you got to move with it. And I have been so guilty of not doing that in my life. And life is too short. And I got that gift 2 years ago, right? So there's no time like the now and the present. And I'm really excited. So.
Well, Meg, our time is over, but I just want to thank you, first of all, for what you're doing and what you're doing in Atlanta, which is the hotbed now as far as Georgia of what's happening within the elections, and also making your own lane. It's a beautiful, beautiful image, making your own lane. And Kris just said that was awesome, Meg. So loved listening. Very inspiring.
Oh,
You are inspiring. You are inspiring all of us. Thank you, Meg. I love you.
thanks.
Can't wait to also be back with you in the theater. Much
Let's
love.
do it. Okay. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Next up is KOA, formerly known as Daniel Beaty. And he is a visionary actor, singer, writer, and social entrepreneur who lives at the intersection of art, spirit, and social change. He spent his life telling stories that share both the truth of who we are as people and his hope for a better world. His award-winning work includes his plays Through the Night, Emergency, Mr. Joy, and The Tallest Tree in the Forest, Paul Robeson, which has been performed in theaters and venues ranging from maximum security prisons to the White House, including Arena Stage. So KOA, you have this, it's so good to see you, and you look absolutely beautiful as always, and you're in a gorgeous setting with a tree I see for Paul
Yes.
Robeson.
Exactly. And I have his album right here, right in front of me. One of his most famous albums.
I love it. I love it. Talk to us about, you've got a great initiative happening right now, and I love it because we have 3 activists on the show tonight with Kris, with Meg, with you, KOA, and you're doing something called I Dream of an America where, tell us about it.
Absolutely. In 2012, I started a nonprofit called I Dream that uses the tools of the arts to help people heal trauma and craft new narratives. And we've done a myriad of projects across the country. Susie Buffett, Warren Buffett's daughter, who has the Sherwood Foundation, was one of the biggest supporters of the nonprofit, and we did 7 years there in Omaha. And the basic idea is that we have the power as individuals to frame our narrative. And as you know, as artists, as theater makers, we play in that realm of narrative all the time, and we constantly explore story and how story can inspire, challenge, provoke, propel us as creators to think and those who perceive to think. And so that has been my work separate from my work as an artist since 2012. In the face of what's happening in our nation right now, I, like many people who work in the sphere of social change, was saying, what is missing? You know, what can be added to the conversation now that might help move the needle? We have real information that we're not a post-racial America. Most of us knew that that was never the case, but in the hope of Obama, that narrative was formulating. And now we know that we're pretty much divided down the middle as a country. And so, you know, we have 2 options now. We go into greater chaos, or we begin to have a true discourse and create an America for all. And for me, as a person who is both Black, recently discovered in the royal line of the Ga tribe of Accra, Ghana, which is the reason for the name change, which we can discuss. And then also Indigenous, Cherokee and Blackfoot Indian on my patrilineal line. America has not truly been a dream for most people who look like me. And you know, this dream of America that so many of us are so invested in was built on the rape and pillage of Native people and of Black people being considered 3/5 of a person. And so I believe we have a huge opportunity now to create an American narrative that is truly an American narrative and not one that is controlled by white men in power looking to dominate anyone who's not them. And so the I Dream of an America Where campaign is the invitation to all of us to submit artistic expressions of 3 minutes or less of our dream for an America. How do we transform the pain of this moment into power? How do we go from a feeling of being victimized by a system that's turned itself on its own people to remembering that America is nothing but we the people? We the people are America. So K through 8 is one category, 9 to 12 is a category, college age is a category, and then adults to seniors are a category. And I've been invited to be the 2021 spokesperson for the National Speech and Debate Association. Elizabeth Warren was one of 4 past spokespeople, so I'm very honored to be in her company. And they're coordinating all of this. Yes.
That's
And we're going to
superb.
give $3,000
So
prize,
they're
yeah.
coordinating everything, and so everybody sends in their pieces.
Yes, and so there's a network, we can't announce it yet, but that's interested. So what's gonna happen is quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. In the finals, the 3 top participants in each category will be coached by a celebrity mentor. So some of my dear celebrity friends have signed up to support, like Esperanza Spalding, Titus Burgess. I've got a lot of, I did a ballet with Misty Copeland. I'm trying to get her to sign up. And because the expressions can be of any form, you know, instrumental, vocal, poetry, dance, we're gonna have celebrity mentors mentor for the category. And then they will create their own 3-minute artistic expression, and we'll put it together in an evening. And this answers the question that I think is crucial now, is that beyond the intellectual conversations, how can art move the needle? How can art get us out of the conflicts of statistics and numbers and money and capitalism and get us to the space of our shared humanity? And how can we, and this is not going to just be for our liberal Americans, this is for everyone. If half of our country is conservative, then we need to hear from that half of the country what their dream is. And we need to begin to understand where our values match and start to formulate a narrative that's truly inclusive and find ways to work together. Because if we don't begin that type of discourse, we're going to be in the same position we are 20 years from now.
Beautiful, beautiful, KOA. So you changed your name.
Yes.
You've transformed
I
from
have.
Daniel Beaty to KOA.
Yes.
Changing one's name is a remarkable moment. It's transformational. Talk to us about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so honored to be able to tell this story. I visited 2 months ago the plantation where my great-great-grandmother overcame the slavery experience. And I say overcame because I believe in spirit we're all free. And I was met on the porch by an 88-year-old white PhD from my alma mater of Yale University, Dr. Haney. And I had told the people who ran the plantation, which is now a proper museum called Carson House in North Carolina, that I was coming to do ritual performance, to take the earth that my great-great-grandmother had tilled as a slave and to make it into performance, to transform that pain into power, into beauty. And there's been a huge challenge in my family. And so I invited the youngest in my matrilineal line to come with me for this performance. And what he, oh, I see we're running out of time. Okay, so what I learned is that my great-great-grandmother was a queen. When she was captured in 1816 in Jamestown, she was a queen. And I have since that time connected with the queen mother of my tribe. I am being embraced by my tribe as a king found, and I will be, as the circumstances of our world are safe enough, be crowned by my tribe. The name KOA means warrior brave one, but it's also an acronym for King of Alkebulan. The ancestral name of the motherland is Alkebulan. It is the divine feminine. And it is mother of humankind. We know all creation started in the motherland. We know the divine feminine has always been and will always be the pathway to our healing. That's the name change.
So beautiful, so beautiful. What an incredible story, KOA.
Yeah.
It's so moving that you've made this decision and that it comes out of your lineage. It comes out of your ancestry.
Yeah. You know, it's such a gift. And what I want to say, Molly, which I know you know, science tells us that we're all connected. If you put my hand and your hand and all of our hands under the most sophisticated microscope, all you'll see is vibrating molecules of energy. And if you zoom into those molecules, you see light. We are literally light. And from that basis, going back to the beginning of creation, the truth is we are all one. And we can simultaneously be one and celebrate our differences. And I think that's the next possibility for us.
Beautiful, beautiful, KOA. Well, we're at the end, but it's so great to see you, and I know how much the audience has enjoyed listening to you, and So much good fortune to you, KOA, as you embark on this new adventure. And thank you so much for coming on with us.
Oh, Molly, you know I love and adore you, and you're one of our greats, and you've given so much to the theater, and I love this version of you too.
Thank you. Much love to you. Take care. What a great salon, huh? 3 activists, 3 shining stars shining for us, showing us what they are doing in the world. If we can harness this, there is no stopping America. So we're taking a 2-week break from the salon over the year-end holidays, but we will be back on January 7th. So join us. My guest then will be Alicia Gamble, wonderful actor, performer, Sarah Rosen Wartell, who's the president of the Urban Institute, and Ashley Foreman and Maurizio Pita from Arena Stage's Voices of Now program. Today, as our gift of art, you'll be seeing the Artist Marketplace. This is Arena Stage's Artist Marketplace for your holiday giving. And this is a program that was created at Arena by Sima Sueco to really help put artists to work because over 63% of our field has no work, and the majority of those in the arts are performing artists. So over 215 gifts have already been bought from artists, providing them with a little bit of income. And you will see in this little short video how many cool things there are for you to sign on to the Arena Stage site and purchase and help an artist today. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Arena Stage Theater Artist Marketplace, where you can commission or purchase a work of art safely with no in-person contact from one of the artists or artisans who've graced Arena stages. When you make a purchase on the marketplace, you're providing much needed financial support for the artists, and a percentage supports Arena Stage. On the marketplace, you'll find 35 artists offering over 100 items. Unique artistic gifts on the marketplace include illustrated cocktail coaster books by Ivania Stack, a signed copy of There Must Be Happy Endings on a Theater of Optimism and Honesty, Sherry Edelin's Table Runners, Quilts, and Pillows. If you're looking for gifts and experiences for kids, we have David Gallo's How to Play with Your Food, Marian Licha's Storytelling, A Magical Journey into a Latinx World, Shanara Gabrielle's Storytime for the Young, Erin Weaver's one-on-one acting class for children ages 6 to 18. For youth or grown-ups, there's John Austin's chess lessons, Lavina Jadwani's Shakespeare monologue coaching, Lorene Chesley's recording of your favorite poem, children's story, or soliloquy. You can also get private virtual lessons for yourself or for a friend or family member with these remarkable theater artists. Thank you for visiting the Theater Artist Marketplace. Please spread the word.